refer.
言及する、言う、呼ぶ。
Pneumonia is a general term that refers to an infection of the lungs. Employee.
従業員。
All the employees were worried about the coming restructuring.
Announcement.
発表、告知。
The announcement of his retirement surprised everybody.
Expect.
を期待、予期する。が、するだろうと思う。
We hadn't expected him to work so well. Account.
口座。
I'd like to open a savings account with you.
Available.
手が空いている。
If you need any help, I'm available.
Provide.
を、に供給する。与える。
Our insurance agent provided us with forms to list all of our belongings. Rate.
割合、率。
Australia's jobless rate improved slightly last month.
Conference.
会議。
We're looking forward to attending next year's conference in Hawaii. Accord.
一致、色、音などの調和。
The policy was in accord with company rules.
Contract.
契約、契約書。
The client will arrive to sign the contract in 2 hours. Request.
人にしてほしいと頼む。
This is the third time he has requested that we change the meeting time.
Per.
につき、ごとに。
She was going 60 miles per hour when the police car started to follow her.
Estimate.
を見積もる、評価する。
We can use last year's financial records to estimate future profit and loss. Tax.
税、税金。
It's 25,000 yen plus 5% consumer tax.
Position.
地位、勤め口、職。
He wants a position with more responsibility.
Announce.
を正式に発表する、知らせる。
My sister and her boyfriend announced their engagement last week.
Policy.
政策、方針。
We are waiting for the Prime Minister's foreign policy to be announced. Charge.
料金などを請求する。
He will charge you an hourly rate plus the cost of the parts.
Industry.
産業、工業。
The computer industry has suffered in the current economic recession. Material.
原料、材料。
The customer wants the same style of shirt in a different material.
Document.
文書、書類。
This document is what you need to file your insurance claim.
Suggest.
を提案する、暗示する。
I suggest you make reservations at least a month in advance.
Likely.
しそうな。
It is likely to snow a little tomorrow. Cancel.
を取り消す、中止にする。
I had to cancel my appointment because I had a cold.
Require.
を要求する、必要とする。
The professor requires attendance and class participation. Advertisement.
広告、宣伝。
I saw your advertisement for the sales position this morning. Due.
支払い期日になった、満期の。
Most of my bills are due at the beginning of the month. Supply.
を に供給する。
The restaurant agreed to supply us with boxed lunches.
Submit.
を提出する。服従する。
Submit your travel expenses to the office and they will refund your money.
Insurance.
保険。
You should get insurance that covers natural disasters. Consider.
をよく考える。
You should consider the matter before making a decision.
Lead.
を導く。連れて行く。
She has proven her ability to lead the team to victory.
Delivery.
配達、引き渡し。
I'm expecting a delivery this morning. Let me know when it arrives. Concern.
を心配させる。
I'm really concerned about his health.
Economy.
経済。
Our economy seems really unstable these days.
Purchase.
を購入する。
To purchase a product, click on one of the links below to place your order. Current.
現在の。
The current exchange rate is the lowest it has been in 10 years.
Management.
経営、管理、運用。
Good management is necessary for a small business to succeed.
Expense.
支出、出費。
I take my lunch to work to avoid the expense of eating out. Result.
という結果になる。結果。
A bad attitude with your boss could result in losing your job.
Review.
再調査。
The plan must pass the final review before management can give their approval. Whether.
であろうとなかろうと。かどうか。
He doesn't care whether she liked it or not.
Statement.
陳述、政府などの声明。
The Prime Minister made a statement early this morning regarding national security.
Payment.
支払い。
Payment for the seminar can be made by cash or credit card. Item.
品目。
Each item is individually priced, but you can also buy a set for a slight discount.
Meal.
食事。
Our family makes it a point to have meals together as often as possible.
Recent.
近頃の、最近の、新しい。
I went camping with some college friends on my most recent vacation.
Benefit.
から利益を得る、得をする。
The project will certainly benefit from thoughtful planning and careful execution. Locate.
の所在を見つける。
After we locate the address on a map, we figure out the fastest way to get there.
Guarantee.
を保証する。
All the products are guaranteed for up to 5 years.
Suppose.
だと思う。
I suppose you are angry with me for not having come earlier. Executive.
経営陣、幹部、重役、取締役。
As one of the company's top executives, he has a lot of responsibility.
Appointment.
時間、場所などを決めて人に会う、約束、予約。
We made an appointment to see a loan counselor at our local bank.
Resident.
居住者。
It's the custom for new residents to call on their neighbors and introduce themselves. Apply.
申し込む。
You can apply for the position by sending your resume to this address.
Replace.
を取り替える。
I'm planning to replace my computer with a new laptop next summer.
Additional.
追加の
The additional charges on your bill are shipping and handling fees. Client.
弁護士などの依頼人、顧客。
I'll make this presentation to the new client tomorrow.
Application.
申し込み、申込書。
Fill out the application and send it to the address printed on the bottom.
Agent.
代理人、仲介者。
The baseball player hired a new agent after he became more popular. Process.
過程。
The process of harvesting coffee starts with picking the ripe fruit by hand.
Survey.
を調査する。
They surveyed college students to find out how much they spend on lunch.
Financial.
財政上の、金融上の。
The lawyer insisted on getting hold of her husband's financial records. Construction.
建設、工事。
Construction was delayed for nearly a week due to heavy rain.
Delay.
を遅らせる。
The owner will delay the grand opening until after the first of the year.
Proposal.
提案。
Her manager was very impressed by the points she made in her proposal. Firm.
会社、商会。
Before joining our firm, Mr. Smith was a professor of economics.
Arrange.
を取り決める、調整する。
We have arranged the next meeting for Monday.
Facility.
設備、施設。
The new facility is divided into 3 different entertainment zones. County.
郡。
U.S. states are divided into smaller governmental regions called counties.
Freeze.
を冷凍する。凍る、氷結する。
Joe bought a lot of chicken, so he'll freeze some to eat later.
Exhibit.
を展示する。
He is very excited that such a well-known gallery will exhibit his art. Ability.
能力。
His teacher is very impressed with his musical and artistic abilities.
Budget.
予算案。
It's wise to make a reasonable budget and stick to it.
Annual.
年1回の、1年の。
The annual Christmas party is enjoyed by the employees and their families. Rent.
を借りる、賃借りする。
You should have checked the apartment before you rented it.
Furniture.
家具、調度。
I like this furniture, but it's a little too big for my living room.
Salary.
給料。
Since he and his wife both earn a good salary, they enjoy a comfortable life. Personnel.
職員の、人事の。職員、人事部。
Helen's job in personnel is to review employee benefits and make recommendations.
Detail.
細部、詳細。
I'm checking the details in their annual report.
Clothe.
に着物を着せる、衣服を与える。
He needed the extra money to clothe his family. Inform.
に、何々について知らせる。
We were informed of the changes that were made after the meeting.
Retail.
小売り。
This holiday shopping season has not been good for the smaller retail stores.
Shelf.
棚、棚状の支え。
Grocery stores place their best-selling items on the eye-level shelves. Economic.
経済上の、経済学の。
As soon as her economic situation improves, Nancy plans to buy a house.
Equipment.
設備、用具、装置。
The baseball team sold Christmas cakes in order to raise money to buy new equipment.
Discount.
割引、額。
There is a 5% discount if you order more than 100.
Port.
港。
After several days on a rough sea, everyone was happy to reach port. Average.
平均の、波の。
The average sleeping time of dogs is 18 to 20 hours of the day.
Throughout.
を通じて、の至るところに、何々中に。
The flu spread throughout the school, causing classes to be canceled. Chart.
図表。
A chart can reveal a great deal of information at a glance.
Accept.
を受け取る、受け入れる。
The board is expected to accept the mediator's proposal.
Mention.
に言及する、の名を挙げる。
He didn't mention the fact that he had been fired from his last job. Retailer.
小売商人。
As a nationwide retailer, Supermart has a price advantage over other stores.
Investment.
投資、出資。
We have made significant investments in emerging markets, such as Eastern Europe.
Goods.
商品、品物。
The goods on sale were of inferior quality compared to the rest of the store's merchandise. Cash.
現金。
Very few restaurants require that you pay cash these days.
Dine.
食事をする。
We love to dine at the resort hotels on the ocean.
Major.
主要な。
I asked her to check all the major hotels in the city. Accounting.
経理業務。
I studied accounting in order to become a bookkeeper.
Feature.
を呼び物にする。
The new ad campaign features a famous TV and movie actress.
Refund.
払い戻し金、返金。
Anything you buy here can be returned within 30 days for a full refund. Permit.
を許可する。
Overnight parking is not permitted here.
Conduct.
を導く、案内する。振る舞い。
Suspecting illegal activity, they decided to conduct an investigation of the business.
Excite.
を興奮させる。
The sounds of the new dogs in the neighborhood have excited our dogs. Reserve.
将来やある目的のためなどに。を取っておく。
The player reserved his energy for the second half of the soccer match.
Agreement.
同意、協定。
We decided to resume negotiations to see if we could come to an agreement.
Vehicle.
特に陸上の乗り物、車。
The shiny sports car that Peter just got is actually a used vehicle. Employment.
雇用。
Opportunities for employment are much better on the West Coast.
Distribute.
を、に分配する。頒布する。
The Korean government has allowed us to distribute the product there.
Colleague.
仲間、同僚。
Professor Mills is a colleague of mine at the university. Historian.
歴史家、歴史学者。
The economic historian has studied Adam Smith's theories closely.
Presentation.
提示、プレゼン。
This is his first presentation to a client, and he's quite nervous.
Profit.
利益。
We expect the business to show a profit in the first year.
Unless.
でなければ、しない限り。
I'll meet you at the park at 7 o'clock unless it's raining. Receipt.
領収書。
It's important to keep all of your receipts and turn them in with your expense report.
Claim.
を主張する、要求、請求する。
We were very excited that we were able to claim a tax refund this year.
Deposit.
を預金する。
Myra just left to deposit today's cash in the bank account. Access.
接近の方法、利用、入手の方法。
Our students have limited access to people from different cultures.
Property.
土地建物、不動産。
There is some property available in that neighborhood, but it will probably sell quickly.
Shipment.
積み荷の量。
The shipment is due to arrive at the dock sometime next week. Regard.
をとみなす。
The government agencies regard him as a grave threat to national security.
Indicate.
を示す。
The little star on the label indicates that the item will be discontinued soon.
Propose.
を提案する。
Tracy proposed changing the conference location to somewhere less remote. Assignment.
割り当てられた仕事、宿題。
The assignment was to interview family members about their view of current events.
Crime.
犯罪。
The front page of the paper detailed a recent crime in our neighborhood.
Strike.
を打つ。打撃、ストライキ。
The painting really struck me, so I had to buy it. Negotiation.
交渉、話し合い。
Both parties should be happy with the results of a successful negotiation.
Subscription.
予約購読。
When does your newspaper subscription end?
Representative.
代表者、代理人、外交員、販売員。
A representative from the insurance company will be here before noon. Deal.
取引。
He didn't want to make a deal with the terrorists.
Effect.
影響、効果。
Her mood had a clear effect on the quality of her work.
Direct.
直接の。
If possible, I would prefer a direct flight to New York. Committee.
委員会、委員。
The committee decides which works will be part of the final display.
Balance.
差引残高。
We need to check the balance in that account before making a payment.
Expand.
を拡張する。
ABC Airlines is planning to expand its range of Asian destinations. Fund.
資金、基金。
The organization has created a special fund that will allow it to offer study trips abroad.
Avoid.
を避ける。しないようにする。
I haven't finished my report, so I've been avoiding the boss all day. Individual.
個々の、個人の。
We need legislation to protect our individual privacy.
Advance.
進歩、
They have made remarkable advances in medical science.
Luggage.
旅行用のカバン、旅行の手荷物。
They took the luggage they received for a wedding present on the cruise. Technical.
技術的な、専門的な。
This service is for customers with technical problems with their software.
Search.
を探す、検索する。
We got on the internet to search for an inexpensive hotel.
Lawn.
芝生、
In the summer, I try to mow our lawn every weekend. Whenever.
するときはいつでも、するたびに。
Whenever he has an important presentation, his stomach becomes upset.
Patient.
忍耐強い、患者。
To successfully negotiate better working conditions, you must be patient with management.
Afford.
する、経済的、時間的、余裕がある。
By next summer, we should be able to afford to buy a new car. Appropriate.
に適切な、ふさわしい。
We don't think Kevin's torn jeans are appropriate for the workplace.
Headquarters.
軍、警察、会社などの本部、本社。
Paulson Communications has their main headquarters in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Advise.
に助言する、忠告する。
I'm not sure how to fill out this form, so please advise me.
Maintain.
を維持する、保持する。
We hired a gardener to maintain the grounds of the apartment complex.
Reception.
受付、フロント。
He left his room key at the reception desk. Correct.
正しい。
I know my answer is wrong, but I forgot to note the correct answer.
Broadcast.
を放送する。
The news program broadcasted live footage of the riots on the evening news.
Grant.
補助金、助成金。
The documentary was made with a grant from a local company.
Reputation.
評判、世評。
The CEO has a reputation of being very fair and generous. Warn.
に警告する。
The park rangers warned the campers about the dangerous trail conditions.
Fat.
太った、厚い。
The file on the company is so fat, it will take several days just to read it all.
Grind.
を粉にひく、肉をひく。
The hamburgers are very good at that place because they grind their own sirloin. Postpone.
を延期する。
Rain postponed the championship game for another week.
Attempt.
を試みる、試み。
Oscar attempted to start the car several times, but the battery was dead.
Hardly.
ほとんど、ない、しない。
Since Barbara took that new job on the other side of town, we hardly see her. Entire.
全部の、全体の。
The director offered to treat the entire cast of the play to dinner after the show.
Potential.
潜在的な、可能性のある。
Harvey found a potential candidate for the position in the accounting department.
Approve.
を気に入る、認める。に賛成する。
Frank's parents don't really approve of his new girlfriend. Variety.
多様性。
We like that new cable channel because there is a lot of variety in the programming.
Enclose.
を同封する。
The enclosed materials cover the details of the seminar.
Contain.
を含む。が入っている。
We should use home products which contain fewer toxic substances. Extremely.
極端に、極めて。
It has been extremely rainy in the northeast this spring.
Recognize.
を識別できる。の見分けがつく。
I could recognize my uncle by his grey hair.
Successful.
成功した。高結果の。
Being successful in business is less important than a happy family life. Base.
土台、基部、規定、基盤。
The company's base model has more features than its competitors.
Directly.
直接に、まっすぐに。
I can help you much quicker if you contact me directly.
Occur.
起こる。
The bankruptcy could occur before the current quarter ends. Inflation.
インフレーション。
Prices have gone up in that country recently due to inflation.
Overnight.
一晩中。
She had to stay overnight at her friend's house.
Manufacture.
を製造する。
If we manufacture the product in Asia, we can save quite a bit on the labor costs. Diet.
常食。
His doctor said that there was too much fat in his diet.
Demand.
を要求する。必要とする。
The union demanded more vacation time for senior employees.
Approach.
接近。
The pilot almost missed the runway on his approach. Citizen.
市民。
She moved to this country 20 years ago, but she just became a citizen this year.
Wedding.
結婚式。
They held a wedding in a small chapel in New Zealand.
Decision.
決断、決心、決定。
Moving to Los Angeles was my husband's decision, not mine.
Range.
範囲。
That opera singer can hit both high and low notes. She has a marvelous range. Legal.
法律上の。
Casinos are only legal in certain areas of the country.
Applicant.
志願者、応募者。
There were more than 50 applicants for the job of receptionist. Cabinet.
飾り戸棚、戸棚。
The cabinet has glass doors so that you can see what is inside.
Confirm.
を確認する。
Let's call the hotel and confirm our reservations for next week.
Author.
著者、作者。
The author is coming to read an excerpt from the book and sign copies. Lecture.
について講義する。
Dr. Troy will lecture on nutrition and aging at the next seminar.
Obtain.
を獲得する。手に入れる。
If you log on to their website, you can obtain more information about the product.
Profession.
職業、専門職。
Larry and Barbara had the same profession until she became an attorney. Pressure.
圧力。
There is pressure from the top to hire more women for the new positions.
Examine.
を検査する、調査する。
They examined the area where the crime was committed.
Weight.
重さ、体重。
When she went on the cruise, Marilyn gained weight from the rich food. Opportunity.
機会、好機。
Students have opportunities to interact with faculty members outside classes.
Federal.
連邦、政府の。
If you take a job with the federal government, you can expect a good benefit package.
Household.
世帯、家族。
The person on the phone asked to speak to the head of the household. Instruction.
教育、教授。
In driver's education class, the instruction time is even longer than the driving time.
Regret.
を後悔する。
I regret not speaking to the famous musician when I saw him at the snack bar.
Immigrant.
外国からの移民、移住者。
His father was an immigrant, so he was the first generation to be born here. Revenue.
収入。
Sales are down, making overall revenue about 30% less than last year.
Merchandise.
商品。
They were making a lot of money from merchandise, such as T-shirts.
Situation.
状況。
Since Greg lost his job, his financial situation has been very bad.
Numerous.
たくさんの、非常に数の多い。
He has published numerous books about endangered species. Specific.
明確な、具体的な。
The form requires that you give a specific purpose for entering the country.
Transfer.
を転任させる、移す。
Mr. White was recently transferred to Sydney.
Minor.
小さい、重要でない、軽い。
The plane took off late due to a minor problem with the engine. Fit.
に合う、適合する。
The new shirt that his mother bought him for his birthday just didn't fit right.
Assure.
を安心させる。
I tried to assure the client that we would do everything we could.
Extend.
を延長する、伸ばす。
If you would like to extend your stay, please call the front desk. Fee.
料金、授業料、入場料。
During the first few days of the event, there is no fee for admission.
Highly.
大いに。
It may sound simple, but Bonnie's job requires a highly skilled person.
Aspect.
問題の見方。
Greediness is an aspect of Greg's personality that always gets him in trouble. Historic.
歴史上有名な、重要な。
They declared the old building a historic landmark.
Electronic.
電子の。
This electronic rice cooker senses when the rice is ready and switches to warm.
Involve.
を含む。
I didn't tell you because I didn't want to involve you in the problem. Corporate.
法人、組織の、会社の。
Last year, we faced a critical crossroads in our corporate development.
Consult.
相談する、意見を交換する。
We would like to consult with you before deciding on the final menu.
Merger.
会社、事業などの吸収、合併、合同。
Some experts believe the merger of the two companies isn't the best fit. Court.
法廷。
Without a witness, It will be very difficult to present a good case in court.
Severe.
天候、苦痛、損害などがひどい。
Snowstorms have made the mountain weather more severe than it usually is.
Desire.
願望、欲望。
Walter had a strong desire to become a doctor even as a child. Responsibility.
責任、義務。
You have to take responsibility for the part you played in the problem.
Rush.
急ぐこと、せわしさ。
He left in a rush in the morning, so he didn't have time to eat breakfast. Relate.
に関連がある。
We told Sharon that her comments don't really relate to the key issues at hand. Decrease.
を減少させる。
The doctor suggested that I decrease the amount of medication.
Spill.
液体、粉などをこぼす。
Every time he wears a white shirt, he spills something on it.
Cubic.
立方体の。
Water in waterbeds weighs about 26 pounds per cubic foot. Promotion.
昇進。
The problem with the job is that there is no possibility of promotion or pay raise.
Assume.
を当然のことと思う。
Because he wears a ring on his finger, everyone assumed Joe was married.
Procedure.
手続き、手順。
You have to follow the proper procedure when filling out the forms. Update.
を最新のものにする。
The radio reporter updates the traffic report every 10 to 15 minutes. Novel.
長編小説。
I'd like to stop in the bookstore and buy a new novel to read on my trip.
Accountant.
会計係、会計士。
We always send our tax forms to the accountant early in the year. Volume.
分量。
The volume of advertisements for video games jumped sharply.
Injury.
負傷、怪我。
This scar is from an old football injury I got in high school.
Secure.
安全な、確かな、不安のない。
By investing wisely, you can look forward to a financially secure future. Paragraph.
新聞、雑誌などの小記事。
Our local newspaper only had a paragraph about the incident.
Relief.
安心。
It was a great relief to find the money I thought I had lost.
Bulletin.
便覧、社報、広報、掲示。
The school has a weekly bulletin that talks about new programs and policies.
Private.
私的な、個人的な。
Nobody else was in the new restaurant, so it felt like a private dinner. Register.
に、登録する。
Go to the website on your receipt and register for the contest online.
Reference.
参照。
Use this report as a reference to prepare your comments for the meeting.
Operate.
を運転する。
The warning on the medicine says not to operate heavy machinery while taking it. Region.
地方、地域。
The two chefs are from the same region, but their cooking styles are very different.
Honor.
名誉。
The invitation to speak at the seminar was quite an honor for me.
Strategy.
戦略。
The head of the department explained his strategy for increasing sales. Convention.
大会、総会。
They expected over 1,000 participants to attend the annual convention.
Lease.
賃貸借契約。
The lease on this apartment is up in a month, after which I suspect the rent will go up.
Trend.
傾向、趨勢、流行。
The current trend is to offer wireless internet service at coffee shops. Monthly.
月1回の、毎月の。
After Jay lost his job, their monthly income was not enough to live on.
Associate.
を、と結びつけて考える。連想する。
People usually associate that company with internet service. Actual.
実際の、現実の。
The price of each item can be determined by tripling the actual cost.
Valuable.
高価な、値段の高い、貴重な。
The manager felt Rachel was a valuable part of her team.
Connect.
をつなぐ、結ぶ、接続する。
In the countryside, he couldn't connect his computer to the internet. Doubt.
を疑う。
Ron has lied to us so many times that I tend to doubt anything he tells us.
Mostly.
大部分は、大抵。
The fruit salad consisted mostly of tropical fruit.
Decline.
下方に傾く、減少する。
The population began to decline considerably after the war. Corporation.
株式会社。
This corporation has more than 20 departments and divisions.
Principal.
主要な、第一の。
Mr. Morris has homes in 3 countries, but London is his principal residence.
Scholarship.
奨学金、制度。
Douglas was able to get a music scholarship to the university. Approximately.
おおよそ、ほぼ。
There are approximately 1,000 students at the school.
Union.
組合、労働組合。
The union negotiated flexible hours for employees with small children.
Dealer.
商人、業者、ディーラー。
My parents bought this old cabinet from an antique dealer. Confuse.
を混乱させる。
Most of the directions in the manual only serve to confuse people further.
Maneuver.
巧みな操縦、作戦行動、巧妙な手段。
David was able to maneuver the car on a very rough road.
Briefcase.
書類カバン。
Ask Bob for some paper. He always keeps an extra notepad in his briefcase. Eventually.
結局は、やがては。
Most babies don't cry very long because they eventually get tired and fall asleep.
Argument.
議論、論点、口論。
I had an argument with her last night over what she said.
Earn.
を、働いて、得る、稼ぐ。
Would you earn more money if you took the job in California? Tough.
肉などが硬い。
Deciding which of the different mobile phone providers to choose was tough.
Lately.
近頃、最近。
I think Tim is having problems at home. He has been very moody lately.
Depart.
出発する。
Flight 8904 will depart at 6:50 from Gate 21, which is down the hall to your right. Proceed.
を続ける。
We have to discuss how we would like to proceed with our arrangement.
extension,
内線
If he calls to complain again, put him through to my extension immediately.
whichever,
どちらをしようとどちらでも
I'd be happy to try whichever restaurant you recommend.
technician,
技術者専門家
Because of the odd smell, we called a technician to take a look at the engine.
addition,
負荷追加
Wheeler Group just announced the addition of a new communications company.
reader,
読者
They make lots of mistakes and apologize to readers regularly.
predict,
を予言する予測する
Although it's her job to predict which stocks will go up, she isn't very good at it.
expert,
専門家達人
The attorney asked an expert to testify concerning the blood splattering on the wall.
tool,
道具工具
I tried to fix the pipe in the bathroom, but I discovered that I didn't have the proper tool.
satisfy,
を満足させる満たす
If you are not satisfied, you can return it for a full refund.
Researcher.
研究者
Most researchers now think that IQ tests are not entirely reliable.
tune,
曲旋律
I remember some of the words, but I can't recall the tune of the song at all.
fully,
十分に完全に
We were fully prepared for the storm with plenty of firewood and food in the house.
background,
経歴
The consultant they hired for the training program has a strong educational background.
intend,
を意図する
What do you intend to do after you graduate from this program?
stress,
を強調する
My dentist always stresses the importance of getting my teeth cleaned.
convince,
に確信させる納得させる
How can I convince you not to buy any more of that company's products?
imply,
を暗に意味するほのめかす
He implied that he didn't understand the instructions we gave him.
resume,
を再び始める
If you turn off your laptop with this button, you can resume your work later.
Properly.
適切に程よく
It's important that we store those expensive bottles of wine properly.
Mobile.
動かしやすい移動しやすい可動性の
The lightweight laptop makes her mobile enough to work anywhere in the world.
Submission.
降伏服従
Reportedly, several armed men surrounded the villagers and forced them into submission. Assessment.
評価査定
The inspector will report his assessment of the plant's safety at the next meeting.
cast,
を投げる
They cast the life raft into the water to escape the sinking boat.
description,
叙述描写
Several witnesses were able to give the police a good description of the perpetrator.
organization,
組織機構団体
The organization was formed to help match new owners to pets without homes.
possibility,
可能性
If he works hard, there is a possibility of transfer to the New York office.
determine,
を決定する確定する
The police are still trying to determine the cause of death.
Economics.
経済学
Joe is studying economics at a well-known university on the East Coast.
Sculpture.
彫刻作品
Sarah's sculpture is going to be featured in an art exhibit next month.
Utility.
電気ガス水道電話などの公共事業
Our utility bills are much higher here than they were when we lived in the country.
Reunion.
再会の集い
The class had its 20-year reunion at a hotel downtown.
Bind.
を縛る
You should get some rope and bind these logs together.
Bay.
湾入り江
The rooms at that hotel overlooked the bay.
Crystal.
水晶結晶
That brand of cooking salt is available in relatively large crystals.
Hook.
鍵状のものフック
Inside the closet of the classroom, there are hooks for the children's coats.
Incorporate.
を取り入れる
The boss asked us to incorporate this new system into our training program.
Flatter.
にお世辞を言うへつらう
She told Jack he looked like he had lost weight just to flatter him.
Sense.
感覚
He is respected by his subordinates for his clever business sense.
Experiment.
実験
The dentist uses special art equipment to conduct his various experiments.
Climate.
気候
Many people try to spend time in a warmer climate during the winter.
Pile.
を積み重ねる
When they remodeled the office, they piled the old desks up here.
Deadline.
締め切り
The deadline for the project will be the end of next month.
Mayor.
市長町長
The mayor plans to give a speech following the Memorial Day parade.
Session.
議会会議の会期
Each concurrent session throughout the conference will be 45 minutes.
Warehouse.
倉庫
A fire broke out in the old warehouse on Pine Street.
Prevent.
がするのを妨げる
The weather prevented us from having our picnic in the park.
Despite.
にもかかわらず
The restaurant was crowded despite the remote location.
Therefore.
それゆえに従って
His mother is a nurse, therefore he is well versed in first aid techniques.
Apologize.
謝る謝罪する
We apologize to the client for the delay in delivery of the goods.
Positive.
積極的な
It will be easier to finish the project if you maintain a positive attitude.
Qualify.
資格を取得する資格がある
If she skates well in this competition, she will be able to qualify for the Winter Olympics.
Approval.
承認了承賛成
During this crowded season, Jack got company approval to fly first class.
Automobile.
自動車
There are several automobile manufacturers in the Detroit area.
Donation.
寄付金寄贈
The donation you made to that charity can be deducted from your U.S. income taxes.
Vote.
投票する
The bill might have become law if more people had come out to vote on election day.
Tip.
秘訣、助言。
The purpose of this site is to offer design tips to new web developers.
Aid.
救援、援助。
My nephew is looking for financial aid to help with his college tuition.
Invest.
に投資する。
Our financial advisor suggested that we invest in real estate rather than the stock market.
Workplace.
職場、仕事場。
The topic of her talk is preventing sexual harassment in the workplace.
Minimum.
最小限。
The tour company said we had to have a minimum of 30 people to go on the cruise.
Occupation.
職業。
If you don't really like children, you should consider another occupation.
Particular.
特定の、好みのうるさい。
Was there a particular part of the presentation that you didn't like?
Admit.
を認める、受け入れる。
It was hard for Chuck to admit that the job was too hard for him.
Bid.
値をつける、入札する。
If nobody else bids higher than I did, that item will be mine in 1 hour.
Holder.
所有者。
Until May, LA Bank account holders can receive secured loans.
Revision.
改訂、校訂。
The report only needs a couple of revisions before being submitted. Attendance.
出席、参列、参会。
Several well-known business people were in attendance at the funeral.
Rapidly.
早く、急速に。
After a slow start, our overseas business is rapidly expanding.
Reflect.
を反射する、反映する。
This report does not reflect the most recent sales period.
Explanation.
説明。
The teacher gave us an easier explanation on a separate handout.
Route.
道、道筋。
My mail comes in the late afternoon, so I must be at the end of the carrier's route.
Significant.
かなりの。
A significant number of employees did not want to wear uniforms.
Risk.
危害、損失を受けるかもしれない、危険性。
They say that the risk of side effects is minimal with the new medication.
Accompany.
に同行する。
Paula asked him to accompany her to the event at the museum next month.
Wage.
賃金、給料。
Although it is a highly skilled position, it doesn't pay much more than minimum wage.
Loose.
ゆるい。服がゆったりした。
Since Jill lost all that weight, most of her clothes are too loose.
Distribution.
配給、流通、配送。
They have similar products, but they use completely different distribution channels.
Stream.
小川、流れ。
There's been a stream of job applicants in the personnel office all week.
Conductor.
車掌。
The train is automated, so the conductor just needs to monitor activity.
Clarify.
考え、立場などを明確にする。
You had better ask a question and have the speaker clarify the point.
Microwave.
電子レンジ。
If your kids can use the microwave, they can make this recipe.
Refuse.
を拒否する、断る。
We asked Jim to pitch for the company's softball team, but he refused.
Row.
列、並び。
The little boy lined up all his toy cars in a row in the playroom.
Geology.
地質学。
We went to a nearby park to look at rocks as part of geology class.
Invoice.
送り状。
After you finish the job, just send us an invoice with your name on it.
Standard.
標準、水準。標準の。
They are more expensive, but this vendor has the highest production standards.
Capable.
できる、有能な。
Henry got the position because he was the most capable of the candidates.
Complaint.
不平、苦情。
The service was so bad at that store that Gail sent the manager a letter of complaint.
Accurate.
正確な。
It was the lowest tally since they began reporting accurate figures last month.
Sufficient.
十分な、足りる。
The reporter said he was able to get a sufficient amount of information.
Strictly.
厳しく。
The non-smoking rule is strictly enforced because there is gasoline on the premises.
Laboratory.
実験室、研究所、研究室。
The experiment was very successful in the laboratory.
Prior.
前の、先の。
I have confirmed that the government had no prior warning of the attack.
Prompt.
迅速な。
When I sent him a message, he sent me back a prompt reply.
Extensive.
広大な、広範囲にわたる。
He loves jazz and has an extensive collection of jazz CDs.
Stick.
を突き刺す。
Just stick the meat and vegetables on these skewers and we can put them on the grill.
Lift.
を持ち上げる。
When they were dancing, Bob lifted his partner up off the ground.
Display.
を展示する、陳列する。
The printer I want to buy is being displayed at all the electronic shops this month.
Chairman.
委員長、議長。
The chairman announced his retirement at the last board meeting.
Acceptable.
受け入れられる。
If you don't have an official entry form, a handwritten facsimile will be acceptable.
Acquire.
を習得する。習慣、知識などを身につける。
Once you acquire the skill, you will have certainty and confidence.
Suggestion.
提案。
My suggestion would be to use less sugar than it calls for in that recipe.
Summarize.
を要約する。
The post-reading exercise asks the student to summarize the main points of the passage.
Crew.
乗組員、乗務員。
The crew has already exited the aircraft, so I guess this means that she missed the flight.
Literature.
文学、文芸。
Beth's undergraduate degree is in French literature.
Permanent.
永久の、不変の。
He had a temporary position, but the company recently offered Juan a permanent job.
Seek.
を探す、求める。
They called all their members seeking donations for the victims of the flood.
Progress.
進歩、前進、発達。
The art instructor was very impressed with Amy's progress.
Moreover.
その上、さらに。
He doesn't want the position. Moreover, he no longer wishes to stay with the firm.
Senior.
年長の、年上の。
Across the street of the clinic is an assisted living center for senior citizens.
Commute.
通勤する、通学する。
If we move to the suburbs, we'll have to commute at least 1 hour to work.
Clerical.
事務の。
This bill is twice as high as last month's, so I suspect a clerical error.
Effective.
有効な、効果的な。
The powdered version of the product is more effective than the pills.
Memorandum.
覚書、事務連絡。
It was not a letter, it was more of a memorandum.
Infer.
を推測する。
From your attitude, I can only infer that you don't like this job.
Retain.
を保持する、保有する。
Retain the stub of your ticket to show at the theater entrance.
Plaid.
格子島の。
The man wearing the plaid jacket is waving his hand.
Expire.
期限が切れる、満期になる。
My credit card is due to expire at the end of this month.
Crate.
運搬用木枠、枠箱。
The products were shipped in crates from Hong Kong to destination ports.
Attract.
注意、興味などを引く。
The packaging of an adult-oriented product should not attract children.
Trustee.
非信託人、管財人、保管人。
According to the will, Kim is to be the trustee of the estate.
Usage.
使用の度合い、使い方。
If you call this number on your phone, you can get your usage total.
Commitment.
公約、制約。
The president is serious about the company's commitment to the environment. Steady.
しっかりした、安定した。
Although the company didn't have an outstanding year, growth was steady.
Frequently.
しばしば、たびたび。
I frequently ask my staff for new ideas or suggestions.
Regularly.
規則正しく、きちんと。
Exercising regularly gives me the energy to work long hours. Defensive.
防御用の、防衛用の。
They discussed possible defensive measures against hostile takeovers.
Suspension.
一時的中止。
The suspension of the Japanese operations came after 3 straight years of losses.
Hive.
ミツバチの巣箱、ミツバチの巣。
The half-finished ship full of workers looked like a beehive. Efficient.
人が有能な、テキパキした。
He's an efficient worker who doesn't waste his time.
Unfortunately.
不運にも、残念なことに。
Unfortunately, business was not good last year, so everyone's bonus was small.
Nearby.
すぐ近くに。
Can you recommend someplace nearby for lunch? Neighborhood.
地域。
This neighborhood is popular with commuters because downtown is easily accessible.
Crisis.
危機、難局。
Lack of production during the factory strike created a crisis for the sales division.
Evidence.
証拠物件。
If the state cannot find sufficient evidence, they will have to drop the charges.
Satellite.
衛星、人工衛星。
When it gets dark, you can see various communication satellites from the mountaintop.
Educational.
教育関連の、教育的な。
You can reprint their advertisement so long as it is for educational purposes.
Pour.
流れ出る、を注ぐ。
If you can find a cup, I'll pour some coffee for you too.
Preparation.
準備、用意。
It's a wonderful dish, but it requires a lot of preparation time to make it.
Participate.
に参加する。
Children need to have the permission of a parent in order to participate in the field trip.
Owe.
に、を借りている、追っている。
Here is the money I owe you, plus a bit extra in interest.
Psychology.
心理学。
An understanding of animal psychology is very helpful if you want to work at this clinic.
Atlas.
地図帳。
I have an atlas in my car that includes road maps from all 50 U.S. states.
Establish.
を設立する。
The school was established in the 19th century.
Accuse.
を告訴する。
When the products malfunctioned, the manufacturer was accused of negligence.
Suspect.
ではないかと思う、を疑う。
Glenda suspected her husband was seeing another woman when he came home late.
Overall.
全般的な、総合的な。
The overall budget for this project turned out to be more than we had imagined.
Consideration.
熟慮、考慮。
Mr. Wells, there are 4 job candidates for your consideration.
Mess.
散らかった状態、混乱。
This room is a real mess. Let's clean up before the guests arrive.
Steal.
を盗む。
Jill was caught stealing clothing and jewelry from the shop.
Mineral.
鉱物、無機物。
The difference between the 2 bottled waters is that one contains minerals.
Dinosaur.
恐竜。
It says that there will be a dinosaur display at the museum next month.
Interrupt.
の邪魔をする。
The television broadcast was interrupted by an emergency hurricane update.
Overtime.
超過勤務時間。
Our union imposed a limit on the amount of overtime we can work.
Eliminate.
を除去する、取り除く。
These are the types of problems that need to be eliminated.
Inspect.
を検査する。
The government needs to inspect produce before letting it into the country.
Via.
経由で、を経て。
Communicating via the internet saves in telecommunication and postal charges.
Carrier.
運ぶ人、物、運送業者。
Our mail carrier has been working on the same route for more than 20 years.
Shelter.
避難所、保護。
We urge all persons in the eastern area to seek shelter immediately.
Alternate.
代わりの。
Traffic is bad on the bridge today, so let's use an alternate route.
Petition.
請願書。
The petition was signed by more than 70,000 people in Asia.
Subscribe.
新聞、雑誌などを予約購読する。
We subscribe to a national and a local newspaper.
Affect.
に影響を及ぼす。
Personnel cuts will affect everyone's job, as it will make us all busier.
Exclusive.
排他的な、独占的な。
We are the exclusive sales agent for that product in Japan.
Blizzard.
暴風雪。
We couldn't get to the lodge because of the blizzard.
Pier.
不当。
You don't need a boat. You can fish right off the pier.
Upstairs.
会場へ、会場で。2階へ、2階で。
We live upstairs and rent out the downstairs to long-term tenants.
Partly.
部分的に、幾分か。
It was sunny this morning, but it turned partly cloudy in the afternoon.
Worldwide.
世界中の、世界的な。
Interpol has launched a worldwide hunt for treasures stolen from the museum.
Collapse.
崩壊する。
Business was good at that restaurant before the economy collapsed.
Finance.
財政。
We decided to postpone the trip abroad until our finances were in better shape.
Urge.
に熱心に進める。
All of her friends urged her to run for the city council position.
Complex.
複雑な、集合体。
I found the manual for the new software unnecessarily complex.
Apology.
詫び、謝罪。
I accepted his apology, but some of the items he destroyed cannot be replaced.